Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome to Path to Pleiades. We are now in stage 2 of the community goal to get a station inside the Pleiades Nebula. This stage features 2 individual community goals. One is combat orientated, the other is mining orientated. Before we get to the combat, I'll be heading out that way a little bit later. We are going to have a look at some of the mining here. Now, I've found a pristine metallic ring system. This is the one I was using in the previous episode. It's in 38 Linsis. Now, I'm trying to find the palladium that we need for the community goal, and it's quite a task to actually try and get some. Fortunately, this little rock had quite a bit in it, and as soon as I used the prospector limpet, that increased the amount of ore that I was able to retrieve. The collector drones are busy little things. I've got 3 of them here equipped, and they managed to pick up the ore pretty fast. So this particular community goal focuses on the station services for the station that we're getting constructed. The more palladium we get, the better services that the station will ultimately have. Unfortunately, finding the palladium is somewhat difficult, and you cannot take purchased palladium. If you purchase any of that from the commodities market and take it to Nebula Horizons, then you can sell it, but it won't contribute towards the ongoing community goal here. It does have to be mined. But with the mining changes that come in patch 1.4, it is now significantly easier to get the rarer ores, or at least higher quantities of those metals. As you can see, I've got 12 tons of the stuff just from this little asteroid here. I could have possibly spent a bit more time doing this, but I also wanted to cover the combat community goal that's going on at the moment. So as soon as I collected this full of 12 tons, I decided it was time to head back to Nebula Horizons in Cashpoos. As I mentioned in the episode of 3301 that was released on Monday, there are a few pristine metallic systems that are around this area, and again I'll list them in the video description here. If you do want to do a bit of mining, head out to one of these. They are the best available places to do mining in. Now, although I've played in open for the majority of this community goal, I haven't yet been interdicted by a player beyond the first time I was interdicted in the first episode of this series. I have been interdicted a few times by NPCs though, and each time I wonder what sort of ship is going to do the interdiction, but invariably it's one of the small fighters. On this occasion it was just a sidewinder. Now, I'm in an asp here and they're hardly combat orientated, but I have got 4 small pulse lasers on here, and I knew they would make short work of this sidewinder, even though on this moment only 2 of them are actually being used. But I knew that the sidewinder wouldn't stand a chance. At any rate, it was a chance to try the asp belt in combat, as well as to collect a bounty voucher from this rather silly sidewinder here. As usual, Nebula Horizons turned out to be a very busy starport. There's a lot of activity going on there at the moment due to these community goals. Now, I had a small load of metals here. I managed to pick up some platinum as well as some panite in addition to the palladium. I've been told previously to keep a hold of these rarer metals and minerals because they can be used to hand in on missions where you can make significantly more money than their actual value. So I'm going to do that, although I don't much like the idea of flying around with a cargo hold of panite and platinum really, because that obviously attracts the attention of pirates, and if I'm going to drop into extraction sites for the bounty hunting community goal, then that's probably going to attract a lot of unwanted attention. I don't fancy attacking more than one target at once, but, well, I want to keep hold of these metals and, well, we'll just have to see how it goes. Before I jumped in and sold all of the palladium there, I wanted to make sure that it was actually working for the community goal. So I just sold 1 ton there, and then I decided to jump in here, have a look at the community goals themselves. That, of course, was after checking the bulletin board for any mining missions here, which it turned out there actually wasn't any. Little bit of a shame, but, well, there we go. Now you can see I've delivered just 1 ton there, and that's put me in the top 66%. Now, the community has managed to unlock just the first tier at that particular time, but keep in mind that this was filmed a few days ago, so most likely by the time you watch this, the community goal may well be complete, but if not, then there will be significantly more progress made than what you're seeing here. Once I knew that the palladium was working for the community goal, I made sure that I sold the rest of it, and just checking back here on the community goal, you can see that I'm now in the top 33%, getting a 1 million credit bonus. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to maintain the top 33%, but hopefully I'll get into the top 70% by the time this is all done. Now, here is the other part of the community goal. It's the Pirate Strike Back. So on this mission, the objective was to go out and collect some bounty vouchers. Now, I could have outfitted a combat ship here, maybe something cheap like a Viper, but I certainly had enough to do a well-spec'd Vulture as well. But for whatever reason, I decided that it would be a smart move to outfit my Asp with a combat build, as far as Asps can go in regards to that anyway. Now, they do have a lot of hard points on them, and they can outfit with a pretty good shield, so at least on the face of it, I couldn't really see why I shouldn't use an Asp. But well, we'll see how that went. Staying in the same system then, I found a resource extraction site fairly close to Nebula Horizons. I had no idea just how busy this one was going to be. I've spent a lot of time lately in high intensity extraction sites as well as hazardous ones as well, but I haven't gone to any of them in an Asp or any other slightly lower spec combat ships. It wasn't long before I come across a Sidewinder, and I already know I would be able to make short work of these, especially now with 6 weapons fitted. Just look how fast the Asp tears through the shields there for that particular ship, and it's going to tear through the hull just as quick, I'm sure. I suppose it wouldn't be an entirely bad thing just to keep shooting down Sidewinders and Eagles here, merely to collect up as many bounty vouchers as possible in order to get the higher tier there on the bulletin board. Then again, perhaps that is related to how much you earn rather than the number of vouchers you turn in. So with that in mind, when I come across this Anaconda here, I thought, well, why not? And this is how that went. The 6 weapons here tore through the Anaconda's shields pretty darn fast. Already it's lost the first ring, and I haven't even been managing the weapon's energy at this particular point. By the time I started thinking about energy again, well, the Anaconda was nearly down to its single ring on its shield, so the Asp is certainly capable of dealing out quite a bit of damage, even though they are all pretty much small hard points here. And now I'm also packing a B-rated Class 6 shield on the Asp, and whilst that can soak up a fair amount of damage, it can by no means bear a full assault from an Anaconda. And then, as you'll know from watching my previous videos, combat really isn't my forte. I was trying here to try and get behind the Anaconda so that I could just tail it along, but I really was struggling to try and get behind it despite how manoeuvrable the Asp generally is. Fortunately enough, I still had a few shield cell banks here, so I was able to keep recharging my shield. It was at this point that I started making a few mistakes. Instead of concentrating on the fight itself, I tried focusing on the Anaconda's subsystems, and well, I was looking too much at the bottom left of the UI there, not paying enough attention to my ship, and yet the shields went down. Before I made any attempt to try and make an escape, I wanted to get a little bit more damage in there on the Anaconda, but I knew that was pretty much hopeless, so it was pretty obvious I was going to have to run. Although I didn't want to have to leave the ring system here. I was hoping that if I could get far enough away, my shields could recharge and then I could come back for another assault on the Anaconda. And because of the speed of the ship here, I've got the highest rated thrusters I can actually get, along with the best power plant and the best power distributors, so it was pretty easy to run from just about anything. Didn't take long to get out of range anyway. But instead of flying away in a straight line, I was curving round somewhat and soon come back in range of the Anaconda again. And that merry little chase went on for quite a while, so I won't bore you with the details of me flying back and forth. Suffice to say that eventually I managed to come back, and I wanted to take out the other ship in that wing, which here was an Eagle. I knew I'd be able to take down the Eagle fast, hopefully fast enough before the Anaconda made a return. And once I'd deployed another shield cell, this actually started to go pretty well. The Eagle, like the Sidewinder before it, didn't really stand up to much chance, I guess, against the 6 weapons here on my Asp. But the problem was the Anaconda wasn't far out of range, and here I am coming under assault from it yet again. And this is where I thought my Asp was truly finished. So that all got a little bit strange, but I managed to make it. The odd thing was when I got to the outpost back a little bit earlier there, I was expecting to be able to repair, but it didn't have any repair facilities, and it took me a few moments to actually work out what was going on. It's been a while since I've paid too much attention to repair facilities, and I'd completely forgot that some places just don't have them. And as you noticed, I did check the station services board twice for that. In the end, what I did was log out and log back in again, thinking it might have been some sort of glitch. And when I got back in, I found my hull was here at 0%. So I don't know why that is either. But I did do a very gentle landing here because I didn't want to hit down too hard, because I'm sure it wouldn't take too much to end up totally destroying the ship. At any rate, that was one of the closest calls I've ever had in the game. Anyway, as this community goal is coming towards its end, Frontier have asked players to vote for naming the station. There's a thread on the forums there, and I'm going to link that thread in the video description. If you're interested in getting involved with that, do go check it out. So, I've handed in the bounty vouchers there. Let's see where that puts me in the community goal. Probably down quite low. Yeah, I'm in the top 100%, but I'm in there nonetheless. Here, within civilized space, there are a multitude of stations, and players and NPCs alike busy themselves around their locations. But for those few who have ventured further out into the darkness of space, they will be aware of the beauty that awaits us there. A beauty that is unrivaled within inhabited space. With the construction of this station, it will allow all players access to the further reaches of space, and they will at last be able to easily and safely witness these nebulas for themselves. But the Pleiades is not only an area of interest for humans. There are rumours that the alien race, Thargoids, also have interest in the area. Indeed, it is the origin of many of the unknown alien artifacts that have been discovered. What awaits us there are new resources, beauty, and mystery. Welcome to Path to Pleiades. The community goal to get a station inside a nebula continues. We've had some tremendous progress on this particular goal, and a huge amount of metal has been imported into Cash Pools, the system where the station is hopefully going to be initially constructed. As of my last check, we had accumulated over 15 million tons of metals. This should hopefully go a long way towards getting the station done, and we are now approaching the 7th tier on this particular goal, meaning that the rewards are going to be relatively high. You only need to get into the top 100 or the top 70% in order to get quite a few million payout.